Flooding rains prompting a WRAL weather alert day. See the new run of Futurecast for what we can expect tonight and through the weekend.
And I'm in the WRAL storm tracker with a live look at how these storms are impacting the roads.
Breaking news. We're getting new reports on Iran's missile retaliation against Israel. What we've learned about injuries, damage, and the U.S. involvement in just the last few minutes.
Preparing for protests. Hundreds are expected to rally against Donald Trump across our area. What you can expect from the No Kings rally on Saturday.
Today's coverage of the 2025 U.S. Open Golf Championship in Pennsylvania has switched over to the Peacock Network. This is a look at storms that hit the site of last year's U.S. Open Championship, Pinehurst, getting about 2 inches of rain from this storm system. And this is not time-lapse video. Look at the rain really coming down hard there with the wind blowing it sideways. Thank you for joining us. I'm Gerald Owens. These pop-up storms, flood advisories, and warnings in the area triggered a WRAL Weather Alert Day. Meteorologist Kat Campbell's in the Weather Center. Kat, these summer storms are packing quite a punch.
Oh, yes. Thank goodness that the U.S. Open was last year at Pinehurst. Today would not have been a good day for it. We do still have some steady rain coming down for Harnett County, Cumberland County, and over into Wayne County that saw some flood reports earlier. Around the Triangle, we've dried out in recent hours. However, we do have a band of some showers approaching Apex, Cary, Holly Springs, and Fuquay-Varina. This will mainly be in the southern half of Wake County. It's rain, but not quite the downpours and the lightning we had earlier. A flash flood warning remains in effect for southern Pines right now, and that extends into Harnett County. Estimates by rainfall, 3 to 4 inch totals possibly in some neighborhoods there. As for flood advisories, we just had the flood advisory expire in Wayne County, but you can see the bullseye clearly of where we had the worst of the rain today. As we move ahead throughout the rest of the evening and tonight, we should gradually see this activity push to the east and fade, especially after 9 o'clock tonight. But it is rinse and repeat. More on the way tomorrow. I'll walk you through what to expect over the weekend coming up.
Thank you, Kat. Make sure you have the new WRAL weather app loaded onto your devices. You can check the radar in real time to see when storms are in your area. You can also turn on the alerts so you're notified about severe weather immediately. It is free to download. Now, I want to take a live look on the ground in Israel, where it's just after 2 o'clock in the morning. First responders are on the scene after another round of missile strikes a few moments ago. Missiles have been flying all day between Iran and Israel. At least 34 civilians have been injured in Israel. 78 people were killed in the strikes in Iran. WR's Aaron Thomas is covering this story from downtown Raleigh. Aaron, you spoke with a retired lieutenant general about the conflict. What are his thoughts on it?
Yeah, that's correct, Gerald. So, of course, the city of Raleigh does have folks who live here that have connections to both Israel and Iran. We spoke with that retired lieutenant general who actually has a connection to NC State, and we wanted to pick his brain on how we got here in the first place. So if you look at your screen, you can see those attacks from Iran showing them unleashing a barrage of ballistic missiles on Israel. You can see it shaking buildings and lighting the skies of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Iran's supreme leader stating in a recorded message, quote, "We will not allow them to escape safely from this great crime they committed." Then we get over to Iran's retaliatory attacks that comes after Israel strikes on their country. And that retired Lieutenant General Jack Shanahan, he tells WRAL that this initially stems from Israel viewing Iran as a threat as it bolsters up its nuclear program. I asked him about the latest developments and if this could break out into a regional war.
And the question is, can somebody come in on the diplomatic side and pull an engagement of bringing all the leaders together? I'm not sure that's possible right now, to be absolutely honest with you. I know that all sides are calling for restraint. The United Nations, as it always does, is saying for everybody to pull back a little bit.
And Shanahan adds that it's likely best that we watch for the next 24 to 36 hours to see what the latest developments could be between Israel and Iran. If you stay with us for our late news beginning at 10 on Fox 50, we'll explain what he says, what this conflict could mean on the impacts to North Carolinians. Aaron Thomas, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Thank you, Aaron. Let's send things over to Brian Schrader in the Live Center. Brian, give us an update on what's happening on the ground in Israel right now.
Just in the past 10 minutes or so, people have been cleared to leave the shelters in Israel after another wave of Iranian missiles. This is a live look at Tel Aviv. We were watching this about an hour ago, and we were seeing some of those missiles falling into the city. We also saw where some were intercepted by that Iron Dome air defense system that is set up there. Here are the latest headlines as of 7 o'clock. Israel says that Iran has fired dozens of missiles in the past hour. There are no immediate reports of casualties, but they say that in earlier retaliatory strikes, at least 34 people were wounded. They're civilians. Meanwhile, Iran's UN ambassador told the UN that strikes from Israel killed 78 people and wounded 320 others. We learned today that the United States had helped Israel by intercepting some of those incoming missiles in that attack earlier today.
All right, Brian, thank you. Raleigh is preparing for crowds like this over the weekend. Sky 5 flew over the big downtown protest Wednesday night where hundreds of people showed up. Looks like there'll be thousands of people protesting in this area tomorrow, speaking out against President Trump. Each dot on this map represents a No Kings protest to be held all over the country tomorrow. Sean Gallagher reports on how this may play out in our area.
There was some miscommunication with the group organizing the event, so they weren't able to get the permit they wanted. That's why they pivoted to have it here on Capitol Boulevard, where as of this morning, more than 2,000 are signed up to attend, joining thousands of others across the country, coming together to share their voices from Capitol Boulevard to the U.S. Capitol. Sitting down in the barber chair is a place of comfort for Jermaine Hamilton.
I feel like a barbershop is a safe place.
A place people share opinions from all sides, red and blue.
I love the diversity of the people that come through here.
Lately, the people who sit down in Derek Hooper's chair have been upset about what they've seen recently with immigration.
I don't see what's the point. As long as they're not doing that criminally, let them stay in the country and earn their keep.
The couple of voices inside the shop will be amplified outside the shop tomorrow. More than 1,000 people are expected to line Capitol Boulevard for the No Kings rally. The NC GOP calls the demonstration shameful, saying the American people have clearly supported President Trump's agenda, but more importantly, we should all agree on celebrating and honoring our American heroes at the 250th birthday of the U.S. Army.
I'm excited to see the turnout.
Hannah Lafko and Rory Carwire are participating in the No Kings rally as part of the 5051 Veterans Advocacy Group. Carwire, a veteran himself, upset with decisions by the Trump administration.
I feel as if he's wasting $40 to $50 million on a parade that could be used to fund VA clinics or the crisis line that I myself have used.
Thousands of voices locally and beyond that hope to be heard. People like Hamilton are listening because they support the struggle.
This is just like our the Black Lives Matter movement that's a couple years ago. Nothing really changed. They're still going on, but I mean, it's good that people are saying stuff now because the more attention, the more it's going to be heard, really.
Now, this rally will start at 11 a.m. and run until 2, and then the one downtown at the Capitol runs from 4 until 5:30. RPD tells me they are aware of all the rallies, but wouldn't share any of the strategies or planning that they're putting into it, just telling me no streets will be closed as a result. In Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
A judge set bond at $150,000 for a high school student charged with opening fire at an after-prom party in Raleigh. 18-year-old Lycom Leach is accused of firing a gun at a short-term rental home on Bickett Boulevard with several people inside. This happened last month. He was arrested Tuesday, and his first court appearance was today. Prosecutors say Leach fired several rounds.
The defendant was alleged to have fired multiple rounds at an occupied premise during an after-prom party. As well as there's video footage from him leaving the scene and then subsequently shooting more rounds.
Leach's lawyer called the charges unusual and serious for the 18-year-old. Police say no one was shot during the incident, but a girl was injured trying to run away. The Johnston County District Attorney has closed the investigation into the shooting of a man at UNC Hospital in Clayton last year. The deputy who pulled the trigger will not face charges. Deputy Jonathan Lee shot Jose Rincon Lopez outside the hospital in June of 2024. The sheriff's office says the deputy was leaving the hospital in his patrol car when the man approached and tried to grab Lee's gun. The two struggled and the deputy fired shots. The DA says after a thorough review of the SBI report, she concluded the deputy's use of deadly force was reasonable and warranted. WRAL Investigates has uncovered new allegations that a Raleigh police officer was conducting unlawful searches. This is according to an internal RPD investigation. Kyle Epps has since been let go from the force, but there are still several cases out there where he was the arresting officer. Carly Haynes reports those cases are now being called into question.
Last month, we told you former Raleigh police officer Kyle Epps wasn't going to be returning to the department after nearly 8 years after an internal investigation. Well, today, through a new court filing, we learned more about what that investigation uncovered. A case out of this courthouse may explain Kyle Epps' exit from the Raleigh Police Department. A new motion includes results of RPD's internal investigation, though heavily redacted. The investigation found Epps performed unlawful searches of people and cars. For example, in November 2024, Epps allegedly removed all people from a car and searched for guns, despite having no legal basis for doing so.
It warrants further looking into individual cases and whether or not, in my client's particular situation, it was done properly.
Defense attorney Charlie Gray filed the motion for his client, who Epps charged with DWI, child abuse, and failing to stop at a red light. The motion points to Epps' history as a reason to dismiss his client's case.
Spoke with my client about it, and she and I agreed that after reviewing what was turned over to us through the judge's order, that it was relevant to her case and it would affect the outcome of her case.
The filing says Epps lacked reasonable suspicion to initiate a traffic stop and probable cause to arrest the defendant. Writing, Epps saw the defendant's car driving slow and swerving, which he presumptuously characterized as being operated in an impaired manner. RPD's investigation findings recommended termination of employment. Wake County District Attorney Lauren Freeman has already dismissed dozens of cases that Epps was involved in. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, Raleigh.
Funeral arrangements have been released for former WRAL anchor Charlie Gaddy. It'll be Thursday, June 26th at 11 a.m. at Edenton Street United Methodist Church in Raleigh. The family will receive friends after the service. You can go to WRAL.com for more on Charlie's life and career. Hear him speak in his own words about his time here at WRAL and see some photos and videos from that career. You can watch the Tar Heel Traveler's tribute to his 90th birthday on WRAL.com. A fishing boat bursts into flames 50 miles offshore. Another boat, a fisherman nearby, took this video of the smoke and flames. This all happened during the Big Rock fishing tournament on the North Carolina coast. We'll hear from the man who took this video. Plus, did anyone get a call for a matador? A bull running around Apex seems to have found its way home. We'll have that story in about 2 minutes. Look at the smoke billowing from this boat off the North Carolina coast. You can see the flames in there too. This was one of the boats as part of the Big Rock tournament over the weekend. This happened 50 miles offshore. People on another boat nearby saw the smoke and called for help. Rescue teams pulled 5 people out of the water. They had already jumped out of their boat to save the flame, or to get out of the way of those flames.
Nervous for them. It's a terrifying situation to be in.
Now, those fishermen in the other boat, they weren't part of the tournament. They were just out there fishing for fun. The Coast Guard is investigating what led to the fire. Now, a bunch of bull, forget Pamplona. This bull was roaming the streets of Apex this week. Neighbors saw him wandering around yesterday afternoon. Turns out that the owner got him back after friends saw the bull on WRAL. Our Monica Casey has the story.
Things you expect to see in a neighborhood like this. Dogs on walks, kids playing outside. But what about a bull?
He said, "It's a bull, right?" I said, "Yes, a cow with horns, a male bull, B-U-L-L."
Whiskey Bent is safe thanks to Angela's Gannon, who took the bull by the horns, corralling him in her backyard.
Really came to us pretty easily. We lured him into the backyard. We've got a nice, lush, fresh grass, of course, being summer.
While he gazed at the cows next door, Gannon went to work finding his family.
My son's birthday party is here on Saturday. We cannot have a bull in the backyard.
Angela and Cambria Thornton have raised Whiskey since he was 9 months old.
He's not an aggressive bull. She spent a lot of time with him.
They're excited and relieved he's safe and sound, only learning his location from friends who saw him on WRAL.
He just went so far. We would have found him if it weren't for the lady that called you guys. Actually, he's a good guy. I think he was just scared.
In Apex, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
The Thorntons tell us they are fixing up their fencing to keep Whiskey Bent's adventures confined to their property. The risk for storms stays with us tomorrow. That's why the city of Raleigh canceled the Juneteenth celebration at Dix Park. Organizers made the announcement today. Other celebrations around the area will go on as scheduled so far. You can find more information on all the events on WRAL.com. Kat Campbell back with us in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Weather playing a role in how people schedule their weekends, Kat.
Absolutely. It's that time of year. Scattered storms are with us. Many of these hot and humid summer-like days. And in Apex, we actually have some light rain moving through. It's not like the rain that moved through earlier.
Graduation season is here. Millbrook High School held its ceremony at the Raleigh Convention Center today. One of 26 schools holding ceremonies over the next 6 days. The full list of times and live streams is available on the Wake County School website. Same thing in Durham. It was a busy day at Cameron Indoor Stadium. 6 Durham high schools held graduations today, one every 90 minutes. There will be graduation festivities all across the area this weekend. It's been that way for decades. Graduation is a time-honored tradition. Tonight we went into the WRAL archives to find a classic graduation story from years ago. We found a really good one from 1996 when the camera was on the students, but the microphone was on the parents. Thank you for making WRAL your choice for local news. Have a great weekend and a happy Father's Day. We leave you with this on your Friday moment of nostalgia.
It's a time of glory, graduation. It's also the tip-off to a new horizon, college. These kids didn't get here alone. And I'm proud of them. Mothers and fathers are helpers, even when students didn't want any.
Every day is a different challenge. You just got to take it day by day and just hope and pray to make it through it. And you being a parent, that's what you got to do. You got to go through it with them too.
Michael Pierce lost a brother to leukemia this year. His parents worried about him.
He's been through a lot. We've all been through a lot. We try to keep him from working so hard and study harder.
Part of the parental agony, kids being kids. Larry Pickett kept changing his mind about college. Parental strategy?
Patience for one. They have a lot of patience and just bear with them until they decide what they really want to do.
Part of the thrill, watching them grow up. Monica Scott listened to her in-college brothers more than parents at first.
Because they were saying a lot of the same things that their parents or her parents were saying. So she started to trust them and believe in them. But all that mom and dad said really is true.
They're stepping into new territory, the college-bound kids of 1996. Diploma in hand, grin on the face. See ya on campus.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.